Okay, we are back. I'm going to flow a little bit tonight. Again, a zoom out lens of everything that's been kind of unfolding since 11/3. That's going to be the marker we're going to talk about tonight. Before I dive in, if you're watching this, watching the replay, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. This again is my lens. This is after years and years of self-development, spiritual awakening, going down the wormholes, the rabbit holes, whatever you want to call it. Waking up to a lot of things in my life, connecting a lot of dots, coming to conclusions, following a lot of different things that, really paint a bigger picture, so to speak. And then my purpose, I feel a big reason I've manifested onto this planet is to share that and to communicate it in a way where it's not overwhelming, perhaps triggering in a way, maybe ungrounded from a place of kind of balance. Heart-centered in a way, I guess that's a great way to put it. So, like I said, some of this stuff I'm going to share, maybe will go over your head, maybe it's confusing, maybe trigger something, maybe spark something, maybe connect a dot, and that's all I want. That's all I want to be able to do is give that to you. I'm not a guru. I'm not here to be your savior, an answer. I don't have all the answers. I never have, never will. But at the same time, all the answers you might be looking for are within you. And those are those divine reminders that I want to share with you guys first and foremost. So, with that said, share this with people. I'm going to keep this short and sweet just to kind of summarize everything that's been going on since, like I mentioned, 11/3, which was obviously the election date. You've seen a lot of things transpire. Some things that I share, you might see something completely different if you're watching mainstream media. Some things I share, you might see completely different if you haven't taken the time to slow down. What happens is a lot of times when information is coming to our reality, it's hard to process it. It's hard to understand it when you're in a very go-go mentality. So if you're, consuming tons of caffeine, if you're stimulated all day, if you're exposed to a lot of EMFs, if you're, consuming a diet that is very toxic or mucus forming or acidic, it's going to put you in a place where out of alignment, you're going to get shifted to out of alignment. Right? Getting back to homeostasis allows you to come to a clear observation. It allows you to come to a better understanding of what is going on. It helps you be emotionally balanced. It allows you to observe and not attach. It allows for discernment, which is the ability to take information and based on your inner knowing and your life experience and the things you've discovered to decide, come to that conclusion that you choose what is true and what isn't. Because at the end of the day, truth is so universal that you know when you see it. And I think a lot of people from who I've talked to, and I've connected with so many of you, which has been such a blessing, a lot of people are seeing something different. Maybe they're not even fully, awakened, or they're starting to now turn the news off and, their meditations are changing. They're having some interesting dreams and like, what is going on, Chris? That's what I want to be here to explain. So without further ado, let's dive in. Remember, zoom in, stay hydrated. Make sure you're breathing throughout the day, taking time to get outside, put your feet on the ground, eating fruits and vegetables, journaling, getting involved in a community, right? Those are things you can control. That's all I'm talking about. Zoom in today. Zoom out. Here we go. So 11/3, the election took place. This is where people lined up. Obviously, we talked about mail-in ballots, places where not all the ballots were documented or recorded, yet it doesn't matter because all votes matter. That's been a consistent theme all year of all this matters, blah, blah, blah matters, blah, blah, blah matters, everything, everything, everything. Bypass the legalities, bypass the Constitution, bypass the rules and regulations, bypass the inspections and how things are marked and tallied, bypass who's running the show, bypass it all because all votes count. The people need to speak, right? First of all, be mindful and aware of that being a narrative, that being an agenda that fits a certain perspective, so to speak, and it has nothing to do with America. Pause here for a sec. Has nothing to do for America. Zoom out some more. You're looking now at the CCP. And if you do not know what that is, highly recommend you look it up. Communist Party of China, so to speak. That is actually, think of it as an octopus with tentacles. Remember we talked about the Krakkenn? You're getting the idea of where these terms come in this movie. So these tentacles have rippled out from the CCP all over the world. What's an example? Well, you have the CIA, the FBI. These things are pretty much tentacles of such. So CIA is Chinese intelligence agency. The FBI is the Foreign Blackmailing Institute. And there's different acronyms that many do not know and are aware, and that's infiltrated politics. It's infiltrated governments. It's infiltrated. Look at the governor of Georgia, so to speak, obviously doing things in the back end with China. They've infiltrated our manufacturing. They're buying our land to grow their crops so then they can wipe our manufacturing out and be the global power. The goal is their military to be the strongest military in the world. They want their influence to be all over mainstream media. So Hollywood, celebrities, even high-paid athletes and actors, they're all under the disguise. Most of them don't even know. But when you're getting paid more than the average person times 1 million, you don't question things. You just keep taking your paycheck. But yet the message you're being put out is coming from a tentacle that is very, very dark. So this has been infiltrated, and it's also has been infiltrated our voting systems. Now you can look at things like Dominion, Smartmatic. These systems are being used all over the world. And what is happening, if you look at Venezuela, what happened down there when they went through their, socialism switch, Chavez and all that, they use the same voting system. So who's in charge of these voting systems? How do they work? How long have we been using them? No one asks these questions. Well, it's because it's been covered up and hidden because mainstream media is not going to tell you. So now it's coming to the surface. And what you're going to see is a narrative play out, which has been played out with Biden being the president-elect and all these other things. And now you have a complete split in consciousness based on mainstream media. And that's what you've been seeing the last month and a half with confusion. This is that. Hey, this president's got to get out. This. And for those of you that are saying, oh, well, it's two wings of the same bird, this, my not recommendation, my maybe code for you would be ask yourself, what is that scenario outside of your wings of the same bird? Have you ever thought about that? Or are you going to keep attaching to this worst case timeline that we, the people, have no power, that the people that have been exposing this stuff are no power, that the military, which bypasses all of these things I'm about to tell you, has more power than you think? That's where things start to get good. So getting back to the election part, you're having a CCP infiltration, right? It's not invasion where it's bombs dropping and we're getting attacked left and right. It's infiltration. It's killing America from within. That was the quote unquote kill shot of Clinton. If she would have won, Obama was to weaken the world, weaken America globally. And then Hillary Clinton was to be the kill shot for America internally. I know it's pretty aggressive, sounds far-fetched, but stay with me. So you have all this fraud being exposed. You have affidavits, you have in-mail ballots, you have fraud. You have people counting after the deadline. You have dump trucks dumping ballots. There's plenty of evidence out there. But again, all votes matter. We got to count them all. Doesn't matter if they're right or wrong, legal or not, after 10 o'clock or 9:59, it doesn't matter because that's the game that they played. And that's how we have been played as Americans, patriots, people, sovereign beings, natural man, children of God, whatever term you want to call it. So this infiltration's been happening for a very, very long time. Now, what is happening now, this is based off The Art of War. It is a book, right, written by Sun Tzu, correct me if I'm wrong, and it's about bringing enemies out from the depths, letting them expose themselves, tripping over themselves, causing mistakes where they never thought they would get caught. Well, in reality, we've already caught them all. And you're seeing this movie play out, so you're getting the idea. So you've seen weeks and weeks and weeks go by with voter fraud, miscounting votes and things like that, and you're seeing a false narrative being played out. And that's okay. That's okay. That has to happen because that's part of this awakening. You can't have an awakening without seeing the opposite side of things. Everyone just wants, everyone to wake up overnight, blah, 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 happy, love and light. Well, here's the thing. This darkness needs to be exposed because it's been running rampant for a very, very long time. So you're having these, anchors on the mainstream media. You're having these athletes speak on behalf of, a certain party, which has been infiltrated by the Communist Party of China, the Democratic Party. It is what it is. But we're shifting now, and you're seeing things starting to come in place. We remember Sidney Powell, who is a lawyer, not for Trump, but for the people. Lynn Wood, you guys have seen me post about that. These are lawyers for the people. And here's what's happening. That's, again, part of the show. That's another form of the show that's being played out. So you can start shifting from the mainstream media narrative to now, wait a minute, what's this all about? Wait a minute, where are we going with this? Wait a minute. So that's what's been happening the last few weeks. You're seeing the term the Krakkenn, right? You guys have seen that. I'm going to release the Krakkenn. It was all over mainstream media. But what the heck is that? What the heck is that? Is it an allegory? Is it a metaphor? Is it actually a term? Is it just a movie scene? Or is it a software? Is it a software part of the Department of Defense, the DoD? Military intelligence. That's the peak of where I'm going to get to here in a second. This military intelligence bypasses anything you and I think to be true and legal, because that's where it comes down to. Because when there's a national security threat to a country and the courts are corrupt, the judicial system is out of whack, the three-letter agencies are not for America, well, there's only two things that the military of the United States serves, and that's the POTUS, and that's the people, and the Constitution. That's all that there is left. What you're seeing with people that are trying to kind of share stuff or trying to maybe quote unquote wake you up, or are Trumpers, whatever you want to call them, those are all word magic. At the end of the day, they're trying to help people wake up to the tyranny. They're trying to take their rights back and their freedom back. They just want to go out and live a happy life the way God intended. To me, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's a great thing to get behind. So I'm all for it, and I support it because I live in this country, and I live in a very dense area in Orange County. So shifting now with the Krakkenn, that's actually software that has been able to monitor these votes, that have been able to use cyber warfare. There's a lot of different types of warfare that have been played out over the years. Spiritual warfare, mental warfare, informational warfare, psychological warfare. We're so conditioned to bombs, bullets, and guns. Well, everyone knows about that warfare, but you really, once you get into the minds of somebody, you got them for life. And that's why the CCP and these other, intelligence agencies, Israel, the Vatican, the Buckingham Palace, they've gotten infiltrated not only into the minds of people, their puppets, but also their wallets. Because when you follow the money, it traces back to everything. And you realize they're all in one big club. They're all in one big club, and well, the media is supposed to direct you away from actually waking up to it. So what you've seen now in the most recent last few weeks, right? So you're now looking at all of a sudden like, wait a minute, now these electoral colleges are changing. Now you're seeing Trump activate the military. Trump was at the Navy and Army game. I know I'm skipping ahead to a lot of parts, but I'm trying to condense this in a very fluid, easy way to get you guys caught up, because there is a lot of information. And I want to take a second to shout out to anybody that has been doing some research, that has been questioning things, that has been speaking their truth, that has been, connecting the dots and not afraid to share it, even though people are going to call you crazy. Being crazy. In fact, to me, crazy is normal. The life we've lived up until this point has been crazy. The life we've been experiencing, our mom and dads have been experiencing, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, our ancestors, that's the psyop. People say, this is a psyop. Tell me what a psyop is. Because to me, it's a psychological operation that if you watch TV, if you go to Hollywood, if you check out mainstream media, if you're a part of these systems and support Big Pharma, you're living in a psyop. And that's where you're zooming out. You're like, oh my gosh. And you're tapping into all these other different things. So come back to the present moment and realize that, things are getting better, but it's going to be kind of get a little worse before, and you're about to see that. And you're about to see it really, really fast. So lately, what you guys might have saw are states, right? Red states that have actually submitted lawsuits to SCOTUS, the Supreme Court of the United States. Well, what has happened with those? Well, they've gotten tossed out. And everyone's going, oh my gosh, I knew it. We're done for. Biden's going to win this. It's all a fake. It's all a psyop. Q's not real. Remember, what did I say at the beginning of this video? Are you on caffeine? Are you stimulated? Have you not grounded? Are you in fight or flight? Slow down. Slow down. You don't walk out of a movie when there's 20 minutes left. You don't say this movie's horrible before the biggest ending possible. That's where we're headed to, and you're coming up on a precipice. Oh, by the way, December 21st is next Monday. Do you see how it's all aligning to the greatest movie of all time, and you're a part of it and you don't even know you are? You're also the director, producer, and actor in it as well. Pretty amazing, right? So what you've seen is these lawsuits being submitted and they're getting tossed out, and you think it's worst case scenario, but it's optics. It's a narrative, right? It's a narrative to keep people in, wait a minute. It's so obvious, this evidence. Why is the Supreme Court not accepting it? Boom, another wave of awakening. Wait a minute, it's so evident. How come all these appointees of Trump, they're not approving it? Boom, another awakening. Because they're not supposed to. Why? Because when you have military acts of treason, high treason at the highest level, crimes against humanity, trafficking of women and children globally, elite pedophilia and Satanism, all being infiltrated under your feet, tunnels under your feet, in your TVs, in your minds, in your food, in your fluoride, in the EMFs, in the chemtrails, all of these things. Well, it's hard to even pay attention because we just think that's how life is. That's just how life's going to be. And we're going to build back better together, right? Using these statements instead of actually going, wait, why are they so bad in the first place? So you've seen these things play out. You've seen things getting tossed because here's what's going to happen next. And if you just recently have been coming to my page or watching my stories, I highly recommend watching my highlights with the letter Q on it and getting yourself caught up. Q Endgame is my latest highlight. Okay, Endgame, Q, latest highlight, go through those. Recently, what had just happened? Okay, well, the CIA director is no longer there. Well, you're actually having the Attorney General, Bill Barr, step down to a new person who's a part of a bigger action step. You're seeing military intelligence activated. There's so many different parts of the military that you and I have no idea except Army, Navy, and Air Force. That's 3 of tons, more than you can even count. And guess what? They have your best interests at heart. They don't serve CNN. They don't serve your governor of California. They don't serve SCOTUS. They don't serve the stock market. They serve you. They serve the people of this country. They serve the Constitution. And they serve the president. Well, I don't care what you think about the man. Look at the message. When you detach from the person and look at the message, because a lot of times people, here's my opinion, straight up, a lot of people that see the president as some blah, 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 is because that's what they are. Boo, that's deep. Disrespecting women in the past? Maybe. Have I? Yeah. Oh my gosh, what? Of course. We have these wounds. He just happens to be playing it out in front of you. And you get pissed off, so you project instead of going, oh shoot, that sounds like me. And that's deep. And that's something that most people don't want to take accountability because their life has been given to them because of this government who is meant to control what they see. So now you're setting the stage up. You're having Trump just go to the Army and Navy game. You're seeing Pepe in the top left corner, which is the frog, which is a Marine. You're having the soldiers stand on the letter Q. You're having them walk and take that picture on the 19-yard line, COVID-19 going into 2021. You're having so many synchronicities. Now you're having changes in intelligence agencies, in generals, in the Attorney General, and the CIA director. Why? Because the stage is getting set. The stage is getting set because here's what's going to happen. You're going to go away from the judicial system. Why? Because it's corrupt. SCOTUS is all corrupt. It doesn't matter who Trump appoints, right? Maybe those judges are good, but it's not up to them because for the acts that have been done on this country, on your mind, on your psychology, on your well-being, on your spirituality, maybe friends, family, and loved ones, is literally in the military high treason category. There was a hearing, if you missed it, you might have, there was a hearing that was done with Lindsey Graham and also the Judge Kavanaugh. And Lindsey Graham asked Kavanaugh, he said, is there, foreign interference, could that lead to treason? And plain and simple, yes. Treason at the highest level bypasses all the judicial courts. Treason at the highest level bypasses the SCOTUS and all these lower courts that you see the Giuliani guy, they come up with these little cases and what do? They throw them out. It's part of the script because it's not meant for them. They don't know how to sentence Biden, who's the most corrupt politician in criminal history. They don't know how to sentence Barry Soetoro, right? All that stuff's done. If you don't know who that is, go down that wormhole. But what's going to happen is it's going to go to military courts. Now, to close this all up, to give you guys enough, you have Guantanamo Bay. If you do not know what that is, look it up. It just had I think it was $1.17 million expansion, housing tons of inmates. You can actually track, and I have all these different intel things that I get over the years that people have connected and shown me. You can actually see flights that are being taken from throughout the country to Guantanamo Bay. You would think that this place is as happy as Disneyland, so to speak, and Disneyland is not a happy place. Side tangent, right? So you're getting all these planes going there, so who are they taking? What's lining up? Why did they expand it? Why has Trump ordered tons of executive orders in 2018 about foreign election interference? You see, when you really start zooming out and you start connecting the dots, there's no PSYOP. There's no new world order, one world, whatever all that is. That's all word magic. God's in control. God's channeling through me, channeling through you. God is me, God is you. God's channeling through Trump in the military and all these people you see. It's those that think that they are man-made and think that they can do what God does and think that they can control you in their left brain psychological mental warfare, mental matrix. That's what's getting caught up because they're starting to trip. They're starting to fumble. They're starting to panic. which is Patriots Are Now in Control, the acronym. And it's been fascinating to see. And I've come from such a place where I'm observing instead of attaching, and that allows me to connect more dots. And that's a great little tip for someone watching on here. If you are observing to attach and to hold on to something, and you're not able to look to the left and let go and check that out and then come back, that's where you're getting fumbled. That's where you're getting frustrated. That's where you're getting anxiety. That's where you're getting pissed off. That's where you're calling people crazy because they are doing something maybe you haven't, and that's okay. These awakenings comes in waves. These awakenings comes in activations through consciousness, through this, I'm talking 3D, 4D, 5D, all dimensions. It's pretty remarkable. But for now, we're going to zoom in. You're going to see what's going to be unfolding. Why Trump made an executive order to have all government agencies shut down Christmas Eve. It's a 4-day weekend. All right, you've got the laid out. You've got a new attorney general who is part of a brigade, 82nd Brigade, that is all about the storm. You have a Winter Storm Flynn coming. Go look it up. Don't believe me, go look it up. Don't forget, you got all kinds of Epstein reminders coming into play. You also have military courts set and ready to go. You have Guantanamo Bay locked and loaded. Let's roll. Here we are. We thought it was going to happen in March. We thought it was going to happen in April, May, June, July, October, definitely on election. No. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. But for some, the last Christmas they might experience. And I'm talking about in the government, in mainstream media, celebrities, your idols, pharmaceutical reps, banking cartels, sex trafficking, pedophiles. It's deep. It's deep, and the swamp is deep, and you're probably starting to connect your dots, and you're probably to see what plays out. What I recommend you doing is keep speaking your truth. Keep staying grounded. Come from a place of love. When you speak from here and not here, you penetrate here and you hit here. It's the biggest distance from your brain to your heart. A lot of people are talking down there. A lot of people are talking up here. Very few are talking here. I've been blessed to able to take the things that I've learned and experience the things that I've done to speak through here. And a lot of things I just said, gosh, I don't know who said them. But that's the best part. So what you're going to see now is a lot of things transpire. You're going to see a lot of corruption be exposed. One day at a time. This is deep. And sending everybody love. But if you think 2020 was a tough one for people, 2021 was about to come out. It's going to make 2020 look like a walk in the park. But here's the difference. You're here watching this and you're watching this replay. You get to be a light for somebody going forward. You woke up for a reason when you did. You took back your power when you chose to. You started taking care of yourself as your dots connected. You started remembering that you can be a guide for others, that you are a teacher, that you are in fact a mentor and an influencer and a coach. You're all those things you've always paid people to be. But here's the thing, it's not going to be for business now. It's going to be for the collective. It's going to be for healing. It's going to be for humanity. It's going to be for people who never thought that this could be true. It's going to be for people who always thought it was a conspiracy. It's going to be for people who literally thought you were crazy. And they're going to tap you on the shoulder and they're going to say, I have a question. Or they're going to say, gosh, I apologize. Or they might not even say a thing. And you just give them a hug. This is the global collective healing. So speaking on the spiritual workers, the light workers, whatever you want to call it, it's all words. It's all word magic. It's the intention. It's the vibration. It's the embodiment and the feeling. And God gave us those things to feel instead of think. Those that are stuck in the thinking left brain have disconnected from the feeling right brain, the body, and the heart. As you start connecting to it more, things get a little bit more clear. I'm going to continue to drop stuff. I've been getting up at 5 a.m. every single day, eat one meal. I guess you could say I'm obsessed or addicted or I'm hooked or I just care. I care about too many people not to not share this. And I don't care if some of the messages I get, the comments I get, friends I've lost, family doesn't talk to me. It's not in my control, right? Control what you can. What I can control is where I look for information. What I can control is what I can cross-check and put together. What I can control is coming to my own conclusion based on experience, observation, research, trial and error, questioning, observing, detaching, zooming out, coming back in, and reminding myself to stay hydrated. That's all I can control. All right, so hopefully this was helpful. Send it to somebody, maybe to connect their dots, maybe to kind of ease them down on anxiety. It's in God's hands. and you're seeing everything be played out. If you want some replays, go to my highlights and watch all that stuff. I'm not for anybody. I'm not for Trump. I'm not for Biden. I'm for people. I'm for God. I'm from you and me, because we create those things anyways. They are just playing out a character role where no longer we have to be the victims or the viewers, we can be the directors and creators. And that's the thing I want you to remind yourself every day. Remind others, because in fact, the best is yet to come. All right, guys, have an amazing night. I got more coming. Just giving you little drops as I flow. I'll probably do another live tomorrow. Probably do one each week or each day this week, because here we are. I waited 3 years for this. Like a kid on Christmas. I woke up 3 years ago to this date. This week, midweek of December. 3 years went down that wormhole. But now, after 3 years of patience, 3 years of practice, 3 years of research, 3 years of embodiment, 3 years of self-development, 3 years of detoxing and cleansing, I'm ready. My phoenix crashed and died. I'm ready to reborn. So activate that phoenix in you. Much love to you guys. Have an amazing night. Share this. Comment. I don't care. Give me credit or not. I do not care. This is a message from God, source, channeled through me to you about everything that's going on, right? And we'll zoom back in. Hey guys, it's Chris. Have an amazing night. Much love.